Hi, it's Mike again and welcome back. Today we're going to look at HTML tables. This can be confusing, so I'll explain it as simple as I can. Learning objectives: to recognize table tags, table head, body and foot tags, table row tags, heading tags, data tags, and we'll look at spans towards the end of the video. So what's the syntax? Well, pointy brackets, table, pointy brackets, that opens the table. Of course, we'll close the table at the end with the backslash table. Then the table elements, you've got effectively a header area, a body area, and a footer area. So it's T for table head, T for table body, T for table foot, each with their closing tags. Then within the T head, we would have a T R for table row. Nested within those would be TH for table heading, and within the T body we would have TRs for table row and TDs for table data. More will become obvious shortly. So here's a schematic of a table made up with PowerPoint software. So hopefully this will explain the syntax a little bit better. So you'll see in pink you've got the opening table tag and closing table tag. The T head is for effectively the heading headings for each of the columns. Then the T body contains all the data, and the T foot contains effectively a footer to describe the table itself or whatever you want in there. So let's have a look at the first row. So you've got T head, then TR to describe a row, and then each of the cells would be TH for table heading. All right, so each cell would have a table heading. Then underneath the T head, we've got the T body, which is effectively the body of the table. Each row is defined by TR for table row, and the row nested within the row will be TD for table data. And I've only sort of put the TD in the first column, but there will be one for each column. And then effectively you carry on with rows, TRs with lots of TDs in there, close off the T body, and if you want a T footer, it's not necessarily, it's not 100% necessary, T foot with a row with more data in there if you wish. So that's what we're going to code. It is complex when you first start out, and it can be a bit frustrating. So let's give it a go. So that's the sort of thing we're going to code now, and you can see where the TRs and the TDs and the THs come into line. But let's just crack on, shall we? Right, the exercise that we're going to do is simple table, effectively 4 columns with a header, and then 2 rows describing first name, last name, what the career is, and the status. Okay, so here we go. Text editor on the left-hand side, internet browser on the right-hand side as usual. I've got a file open on the left with tables. So let's start off with a table tag to define the table. I'm going to go a couple of lines down and close that table with pointy brackets and backslash table as usual. So first thing in the table is the T head tag for the heading area. Like so. And we're just going to have one row in the heading area. And notice I'm indenting all the time. It just makes things a little bit tidier. So each table heading will have a TH opening and closing tag. So I've typed out one, you can just see that. So I'm going to copy that 4 times and indent them so that it makes our code look a bit nicer. So the first heading, I'm going to call it first name, last name, career, and status. I'm going to save that and come over to the browser. I'm going to hit refresh, and you'll see because I put these in TH tags, then it automatically puts the headings in bold. Now, so that's the T head. Obviously, so that what comes next is the T body. Full stop there instead. And we'll close off the T body. And then within the T body, we need, guess what? We need a row. Close off that row. And then instead of TH, because that was for table heading, we're going to use TD for table data. And what I'm going to do, because we've got 4 headings, I'm going to create 4 bits of data here. So Mike Jones, who's a teacher, and I'm just going to leave that this one blank for now because I want to show you something else in a moment. So I'm going to copy that row so I don't have to type out all the TDs again, and all I'm going to do is change the actual data. Sue Smith, and she's a nurse. Okay, so I'm going to hit save now. You can see I've got one row with Mike Jones and another row with Sue Smith. So I'm going to save and come over to the browser and hit save. So as you can see, we've got table headings and then 2 table rows within the table body. So that's looking quite nice. Now, in previous videos, what I've said is, to prettify anything, then we should use styling. But what I want to do now is just add a bit of styling to this table so that we can see what's going on. Okay, so I'm in the head section area at the moment. You can follow me through with this one, but bear in mind we're doing HTML at the moment and not CSS, which we'll come on to. That's quite an exciting subject. So I'm just adding some styling with it's got to be within the head area. Okay, so I want table, effectively table data cells, and I'm going to give it a border of solid 1 pixel red so that we can actually see what's going on the side. I'm just going to hit save and click refresh, and you can see around each of the TDs there's a red border now. Okay, so in fact what I can do here is put the red around the header cells as well. I'm going to hit save, I'm going to refresh, and you can see now the headings have got a red border as well. So there's one more thing I need to do, because the table looks a bit messy at the minute just with those data cells being highlighted. So I'm going to just add a border. It's called border collapse. And effectively it just removes the gap between table. That looks right. So save and refresh, and you can see now that it's all come a bit nicer. And I'll just add. See, I've sort of made this border a little bit wider at 2 pixels instead of 1. So that looks quite nice. So Let's just refresh what we've done. First name, last name, career status are TH tags in the T head area. Okay, and then Mike Jones teacher and Sue Smith nurse are in the T body tags, and nested in there is one row with Mike's details and another row with Sue's details. Now, what we have done is left this status blank at the moment. I've done that for a good reason. So let's say these two are friends. So what I like to do is type in friends into Mike's area. I'm going to hit save, hit refresh, and hit refresh, and you can see there's friends. But bearing in mind he's friends with Sue. So what we can do is come into the TD, or the table data area, and what I want to do is span the friends across two rows. Okay, so I'm going to type in rowspan equals and the number of rows I want it to span. So I'm going to go rowspan 2. I'm going to hit save now. I'm going to refresh the browser, and you can see here that friends is now sort of spanning both Mike's line and Sue's line. But notice what's happened. There's a little, I just might need to come in here. You see sort of on the left hand side there's that cell, tiny cell with nothing in there. Where's that come from? Well, if we come over to our code, there's a blank TD there, a blank table data, and that's what that thing is poking out from the right hand side. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of that under the within the Sue row. Just here, I'm going to hit save. I'm going to click refresh, and you'll notice that annoying little red empty cell has now gone. So that is rowspan. Okay, it's got a neat trick. Rowspan equals inverted commas the number of rows you want to do. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, so rowspan, remember that, because what I want to do is show you a colspan. So let's say Sue hasn't got a last name. Okay, that's unusual, but let's just do it. So I'm going to go to Sue and type colspan equals 2. Yeah, and let's go a blank TD for now and see what happens. And now what we've got, you can see Sue with the colspan of 2 comes across the two columns. So that's good. But what we've got now is that empty TD is this one here, if you look on the right hand side where my arrow is. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to hit save. I'm going to refresh, and now what we see is Sue is spanning 2 columns, and we've got her career status here, which is a nurse. But note the friends thing that we had earlier, it has not come down. So let's go back to friends up here, and what we want to do, we don't want to span a column, we want to span the rows. So remember what I did earlier? I said row span, all one word, equals 2. Whoops, I've got the 2 outside the inverted commas there. I'm going to hit save and refresh, and there we go. So what have we done here? Let's just refresh. The T head with THs, let's just highlight that. The THs for table headings. Within the browser, it's the first row with bold text, and that's in the T head area. Then in the T body area, we've got Mike and Sue, and you've got 4 columns. And bearing in mind that each column is on a different row within sort of the TR section. So that's the first row. Then the second row is here, and look, it's only got 2 things for Sue, but the first name is spanning 2 columns. The second thing is effectively in the third column now, and the fourth, friends, is spanning the row from the row above it. So I hope that's clear. Playing with tables, you need to do a bit of practice. So see what you can do. T head for header, T body for body, and what I haven't done is T footer. So what I'll do, I'll just go T foot. And close that. And I'm just going to go, I'll just put a TD, or probably a TR I need first, TR, and close that, TR, and call it TD. I want for it to go across 4 columns. So col span equals 4. And then close the TD. And we'll call this friends table. And hit save and refresh. And you can see friends table, it spans all 4 columns, and that comes from this code here. So let's go back to the learning objectives and see what we've learned. Okay, the objectives were to recognize table tags, recognize T head, T body, and T foot tags, recognize row tags, which are pointy brackets TR for table row, headings TH for table heading tags, and pointy brackets TD for table tags. If you're using headings, they need to be nested in a table row. If you're using table data for the body, you need to nest them in the table row. So that's it for now. Hey, thanks for listening about tables. Moving on with HTML.